We are at the point where 2026 really has the opportunity to be Cardano's best year yet. And why I'm saying that is there's a lot of things that are going on behind the scenes that people don't realize. People forget that crypto, especially blockchain tech, is like an iceberg. What lies below the surface is very much unknown until it comes to the surface, until it actually becomes news. And there continues to be more information that's coming out time and time again. In fact, Charles Hoskinson talked about something that a lot of people thought was dead. So we are actually even making progress. It's a perfect example of this behind the scenes. And I wanted to discuss this with you guys as well as a few other pieces of news. So if you are new or haven't already, show your support for the channel down below. Hit that subscribe button, that bell. It's free to do. It'll keep you updated anytime there's new content live here on the channel. So this was all a post by the Crypto Home. And what he said is Cardano's best year to date will be 2026. And I agree. A lot of people forget that even as price has kind of lagged here in 2025, obviously 2025 around the crypto market kind of sucked from a price standpoint. It's been great from a progress standpoint. Full decentralization being looked at by major institutional players, progress in terms of partnerships around the world, right? And then now we have some of the biggest launches coming. We have Midnight, we have Ouroboros Laos, we have the advancement of Hydra, right? There's a lot of things that are working in our favor, and maybe even some of these take until 2026 to get here. But the point I'm trying to make is that we haven't been, a duck just sitting on the water. We have been active. We have been moving. We have been making some of the best progress in the crypto space, I would say, right? And the great news about this is there is still so much more that can, in fact, be done, especially when it comes to retail adoption. And maybe some again, some of these things really kick that off when we get, major stables, things like that, right? And I'm kind of going off. I'm kind of losing my train of thought here. But the point I'm trying to make is that just because price isn't performing to people's expectations, it doesn't mean you're not doing major things for the future. In fact, Charles Hoskinson talked about something that I think surprised a lot of people. He said Cardano has an exclusive launch, RealFi. We never left Africa. I gave over 1 million in loans to Kenya, Uganda. It's the ultimate bear market DApp. Yield is off chain. It has nothing to do with the crypto markets and it has predictable returns. So there are things going on in places around the world when it comes to the Cardano blockchain that people weren't or aren't aware of. Does anybody remember when we got the NASA announcement, how that kind of caught people off guard, that they were in fact utilizing the Cardano blockchain for supply chain management? It's kind of a bit of a surprise. Argentina kind of popped up out of nowhere. Dubai police force to store ballistic evidence, that's a pretty big deal, popped up kind of out of nowhere. So the point I'm trying to make is, while all these people are screaming that things are dead and nothing's happening, there's probably a lot of big things happening that you aren't necessarily aware of. And maybe 2026 is where the year where those things start breaking the surface, where they finally start coming to light and people start realizing, oh crap, we actually have a lot going on that, remember we have an NDA. Charles Hoskinson has an NDA with who is it, SpaceX or something? Yeah, there's a lot of things, guys. Now, that being said, this is another big deal. I think people forget and have forgotten that at any moment we could see a major ADA spot ETF go live. We're starting to hear about all these basket ETFs coming out. You're starting to see altcoin ETF rollouts. Guys, Grayscale is a pretty darn big entity, and that would be a pretty darn big ETF product, and it could in fact lead to the snowballing in terms of other ones being listed, right? Wouldn't be the first time we've seen that. Obviously, take a look at the XRP spot ETFs that seem to have a new one go live every single week. And again, this is institutional validation. It's institutional demand signaling to other players in and out of the space. So just something to consider there. Now, few other things that people need to be aware of here. Eric Trump's America Bitcoin bought $363 billion worth $34 million. All right. Now, why I'm talking about this is we continue to see all these enterprises and institutions accumulate while retail is just kind of stuck waiting right now. They continue to think that we're falling into a bear market. And again, I'm not going to discount that. I'm not saying that we're not, right? But I think it's a pretty big deal when you have these large entities just buying and buying and buying and taking advantage of all the fear that we're seeing in the space. Bitfinex longs are sitting at cycle highs. Smart money isn't hesitating. Push higher looks increasingly likely, is what the Crypto Rover posted. And interestingly enough, every time we've gotten to these slightly higher levels, it's actually been a major market bottom before a massive rally extension to new highs in terms of BTC. Could we be on the verge of that again? Possibly. Well, I will say, it's a pretty promising sign when we're continuing to see liquidity entering the crypto market. And I know I don't want to sound like a parrot or keep repeating myself, but it seems like liquidity is heating up. It seems like more capital keeps being injected into the crypto market. This marks between USDC and USDT, $2 billion over the last 4 days. It's a pretty damn big deal. It's a pretty large sum of money, guys. And where is that going to flow to? Is it just flowing to stable coins to just sit on the sidelines? No, it's flowing into buy assets. We have to think about these things, right? One other big thing here as well, I thought this was actually a good thing. So the SEC is cracking down on leveraged ETFs. We obviously know leverage has been a very big issue here in the crypto space. It's something that has prevented 2025 from turning into a big explosive year. And it's something that has caused a lot of retail panic. And the SEC has actually issued warning letters to ETF issuers to block new 3x to 5x leverage ETFs after some of the recent market volatility. We know there have been filings for 2x ETFs, so it sounds like they may allow those to happen. But the SEC said we are concerned about ETFs offering more than 2x exposure. And I think that, leverage has been truly a cancer in this year, 2025. And retail, unfortunately, has been a big part of that. Retail has been over leveraging themselves. They've caused these cascading liquidations like we've talked about. It's a big reason why we saw that big liquidation event take place on October 10th. It's because retail just bet and bet and bet until they got completely wiped out. And I think we finally gotten to a point where people have major PTSD from leverage, and they're a lot more hesitant to do these things. But the SEC is even telling large players, hey, we're not going to do this. So that's something that I thought was actually pretty good for the space. But I appreciate you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. There's a lot going on behind the scenes. There's a lot below the surface. And this is why patience is one of the most important things. I know this cycle has been rough. I know 2025 has not been the year we expected, but that doesn't mean big things aren't happening. It doesn't mean big things aren't coming. It doesn't mean that Cardano is not making huge, major progress in the crypto space, because it is. So appreciate you guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts below, but have a great day. Catch you guys in the next one. Take care.